For the first time in 5 years, the first time without Doublelift, Team Liquid has won the LCS championship. Let's get into the pit. First, I'm going to take my victory lap. Last week, I said exactly this. If Team Liquid beats Cloud9, Team Liquid is winning the LCS. And boy, did that age well. Starting with the Cloud9 series, yeah, that wasn't really close, was it? Playoff impact truly is just a completely different animal. Put Bwipo straight into the ground, and it felt like Cloud9 just had no real response for Team Liquid. The one lane that was able to remain consistent for the most part was Berserker and Vulcan, and unfortunately they were never really given the resources to be able to do things. You wanted some sort of variation of Vulcan on an Enchanter or somebody on an Enchanter, which they even actually tried in game 3 of their series, putting Jojo on Karma, but Jojo is not the person you want on Karma, but they couldn't get anything to work. You keep giving Fudge counter pick in top lane or priority pick, and he's just not able to do anything with it whatsoever. So quickly, let's talk about Cloud9. This was the team that I said from the beginning of the year that if they do not win both splits of the LCS, it is a failure, period. And not only did they not win the spring split, they did not look good throughout this entire split. They did not look good in playoffs, barring their 3-0 against 100 Thieves, which now in hindsight looks more like nerves from 100 Thieves part because they rebounded well and played Team Liquid arguably closer than most teams in the losers bracket were able to take them. But there's a lot of question marks that need to be raised specifically on Cloud9 because they got problems that need to be solved. And I don't think there's any world where this team runs it back in the same form that they had next split. There's no chance. There's no way. I don't know whether that's bringing in additional coaching to help out Mithy because the drafting that they were doing was not enough, and just having Vigar V2 over Discord calls is not enough. I don't know if that's maybe changing out Fudge, because a lot of people are calling for that, for somebody that can play weak side top, that can just slot in and allow the attention to purely go to Jojo and Berserker, because let's be honest, there's too many people asking for resources. There's too many people trying to cook all at the same time, and nobody that's willing to just say, yes, chef. Maybe it's Vulcan. I have no clue, but I would bet my life savings, which is not much, but I would bet my life savings that something is changing with C9. There's no chance that they run it back in the same exact form for summer. But this video isn't ultimately about them. It is about the champions, the team that would go on to beat FlyQuest in the finals after 3-0ing C9. That would be Team Liquid. There's a lot of people that deserve credit for this victory. First and foremost, Impact stepped up massively in playoffs relative to the regular season. It's not even the same player. He went from getting solo killed in each of his games against Sniper to looking like the best top laner in the league by a country mile after Bwipo won first All-Pro, deservedly so. Impact took that personally and just put everybody in the ground in playoffs. Had some moments where it was a little bit hit or miss, but overall, like, the dude performed well. He got a pentakill on Jax in the C9 series. I wouldn't say he was the standout player for Team Liquid, but everybody was firing on all cylinders by the time we got to finals weekend. So me not singing the same amount of praises as Impact and some of the other players on this team shouldn't take away from how well he played, to be very clear. Jumping down to the bot lane, CoreJJ had a massive glow up from last year. Last year, we were talking about him possibly retiring. We weren't sure if he had it or not. His pairing with Yawn, they would look decent at times, but they just wouldn't be able to get over that hurdle. And as they continued to play games in playoffs, Yawn and CoreJJ both leveled up to an insane point. Yawn having the most kills in LCS playoffs history, period, of any player all time, being clearly the best bot laner in the entire league. There's no argument to be had. There's nobody that even comes close. Not even Berserker is on the same playing field. If he's S tier, everybody is A- at best. Same for CoreJJ. And we have to talk about the man in the mid lane. I've already watched enough content this week to know that there are people that are not giving him the credit that he deserves. APA played incredibly well this entire playoffs. And the slander that people were going to put against him is, oh, he's playing champions that he wouldn't get away with internationally. We're not playing internationally. We're playing domestically. And he put everybody underneath him. A deathless Aurelion Soul game in finals. His Talia looked fantastic all weekend long. He got to play Ziggs against C9, and obviously that worked out well. What more are you going to ask from this man domestically? If you're going to sit here and talk about international play, which we'll get into later in the video, you have to take away credit from literally every other mid laner in the LCS. So stop doing that. Specifically Monte Cristo. I'm going to call you out on it. Bro, I get you like talking about international League of Legends. Thorin as well. But if you can't sit here and honestly just have a good time with the LCS, and by all means, they gave them their flowers as well. But for the amount of criticism that was levied APA's way throughout this entire season and last year as well, for him to be where he's at right now deserves way more recognition than he is getting. If you are going to crap talk him to the amount that people have, you then have to go the equal distance the other way, whenever he deserves his praise. And nobody is going to the extent that he should be given praise for. Dude played unbelievably well, has leveled up massively as he has continued to grow in his LCS career. His second split ever, and he's already an LCS Finals MVP. Yawn in his third split ever, an LCS champion. This Team Liquid squad is absolutely a blast to watch, a pleasure, and it is so nice to know that even whenever APA is shit talking, his teammates have his back. I actually got a chance to talk to one of my longtime friends, Manizzle. We played in a rec league together in League of Legends. He's been a TL fan for the longest period of time. I got to see him whenever Team Liquid won their final of the 4 back-to-back titles back in Detroit. And I got to talk to him again now after their 2024 victory. The last time I saw you in person was when Team Liquid won an LCS title. It is now 5 years later and you finally have another one. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels surreal. Like a lot of people rated the team 4th coming into the season. They weren't like overwhelmed per se by the pickups, you know, replacing like Summit and Piosik, which were, I mean, Summit was like first team All Pro, like the guy is just a beast, right? But Impact came in, and that was really nice to see. And then Umti, who was touted as one of the better junglers in Korea in LCK, but he was never surrounded by like good players or whatever the case may be. And yeah, just watching them leveling up along the way throughout the season really made it feel rewarding to like staying on the ride, if that makes sense.
I mean, you stayed on the ride better than some of the other Team Liquid fans I saw who were significantly off the ride by like week 5 of the regular season. I'm glad you held course.
Oh yeah, and I was very vocal in calling people out like that because I mean, like I'm a mod in the Team Liquid Discord, right? So I see a lot of the crap that people post in there. People were calling for APA's head, Yon's head. Core got a little mixed reaction from the community, I feel. Impact, rock solid. Umti, honestly, people love him because of his energy. So people couldn't find a reason to flame him. But APA probably got the most flame out of any player that I've seen in the last couple of years. And it was really disturbing to me because his parents are very involved in the community, like both on Twitter and in the Discord.
Shout out to Stacey, amazing woman.
Yeah, and I had a talk with his dad about it, and he was like, yeah, I'm not going to be as active anymore in the server. And I'm like, that's honestly not cool because, you know, like, I don't know about you, but like seeing supportive parents, especially in a community or like in like a atmosphere like this, I guess, like in gaming in general, is like so awesome to see because a lot of parents are like, oh yeah, like he's just playing video games, like whatever. Like people don't support their kids' passions, and like just seeing APA's parents supporting their son is like so awesome. So I was vocally I was very vocal about calling people out on their crap, both on Twitter a little and in Discord for sure. So yeah,
I love the hell out of his parents. I banter with him a good bit because obviously, you know, anytime 100 Thieves and Team Liquid play, I'm not gonna shy away from shit talking you guys and being like, you know, like kind of leaning into it. Obviously not from like I never actually wanted like APA or anybody to be dropped, but like, you know, you throw those jabs in there. It's like, do your own people even really want you? What makes you think you're gonna be able to beat us? Like, but they took everything with stride, and they would clap back all the time. And it's like it was a level of, as you said, supportiveness that I'm sure more parents do than they lead on, but we just don't get to see it. There's not many that are active on social media in the same capacity. And of course, there's sirens going on in the freaking background of everything right now. I swear to God.
How to tell people I'm from New York.
God, dude, oh my God. But yeah, no, I've loved everything that they've done. And like to get that validation now at the end of it, where, you know, he gets the last laugh. And not only that, but you have Core directly standing up for him. And like that might have been one of the biggest mic drop moments in LCS history that I can remember, where like Core comes out and says, you want to fuck with my boy, he's the best in the game, you gotta beat him, you gotta be better than him, and then just tosses the mic to chat. Was just great.
Yeah, I think the exact quote was, if you want to be good at trash talking or something like that, you have to be like this guy or something like that. Yeah, that was just so funny to me. It was hysterical. It was great.
So where do you stand on like Team Liquid now versus Team Liquid back whenever they last won in 2019? Like, where do you feel like the org is at? Where do you feel like the fandom is at with the 5-year jump?
So I guess if you want to run it through like a little time lapse, kind of like going from 2018, 19, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. I think COVID for sure, and I'm pretty sure a lot of fandoms can attest to this. It felt kind of like it was like a gray area per se. It was like a really like, I don't know where it's heading. I don't know what's going on. I think most people were just like tunneled on survival at that point in time. But I think I mean I still regularly see a lot of the same people that were around back then now in the Team Liquid Discord at least. And I'm gonna just take a quick second to say I do not we do not support the subreddit. The Team Liquid subreddit is,
dude,
I'm gonna actually just, I'm gonna literally say it too. That place is a shithole, man. That place is a shithole.
Who runs it? Like, is there anybody within the org that has pull that can help clean it up, or is it just all third party?
They're starting to get on top of it now, but I've been literally telling them like, hey, people have been posting BS in there for so long, and it makes like fans in general, TL fans in general, look bad, because, you know, like there's analysts, there's people in the scene that go in there, and that's how people get their intel. You know what I mean? Like, how are fans gauging like this interaction, or gauging this current event, or whatever it may be, or like off-season stuff, or whatever it is. And like, it just makes TL fans look bad. And it's like there's more to the community, and not just TL. Like, I'm sure FlyQuest Discord is a great place. 100 Thieves Discord is a great place. Like, just hearing the word subreddit has just made my head go boom, because like even the League of Legends subreddit is an awful place as well.
Here's the thing though, that I learned a very valuable lesson yesterday on it at our watch party. I was expecting there to be more FlyQuest fans than there were Team Liquid fans. That was the trend all year, where in our bi-weekly watch parties we would have more FlyQuest than anybody else. But when it came time for finals and the bigger events came, Team Liquid fans did show up. And the majority that I talked to learned about it because of the League of Legends subreddit. Not the billion tweets that I put out on it, not the TikToks or YouTube videos that mentioned it. It was the Reddit. It was the singular post on there that got like 600-700 upvotes, and it captured their attention, and they came because of it. So like, as much as I want to say like Reddit can be a bad place and you try and phase it out, the importance of it and doing it right is still up there. It is still, as you said, one of the biggest forms of communicating information to people in a way that Twitter almost is, but people were becoming less reliant on Twitter as time goes on.
Yeah, Twitter is its own animal at this point in time. I don't know what the hell is going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, but yeah, I feel like TL fans show up whenever the team's up, which is kind of sad to say, but it's kind of how it feels sometimes. I don't know, take that as you will, but hey, they're on top right now. So
I was gonna say they're leading the pack. And my final question I got for you: where do they finish at MSI? What's your too early prediction?
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't been watching as much League of Legends, mainly because I've been, not playing League of Legends or really watching like other regions. I'm just gonna be taking an uneducated guess here because this is the first season I have not been watching other regions actually.
Let me rephrase the question then to a more direct answer or direct question. In a head-to-head best of 5 against G2, does TL win it and by how much?
I'm gonna say 3-1 because 4 is a funny number.
Of course you give the 4 answer. Why would you not? Congratulations on the dub, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Hopefully 100 Thieves gets their time eventually.
Oh, we will.
With Sniper.
We will.
Sniper's my boy. That's my dog.
I can promise you, I hope to see you on the other side in finals when we do pick up that trophy, because nothing would make it sweeter for me than taking it away from you.
We'll see.
I said that with love.
If you beat FlyQuest or another team, that'd be even better.
I'm not worried about FlyQuest. We'll eventually figure it out. Now, there is something that we do have to talk about when it comes to FlyQuest specifically. And I want to make sure before I go into this that it is very clear. This does not take away from Team Liquid winning their title and from them leveling up. Quite honestly, I think even if this person had still been there, I still think Team Liquid gets it. And people should not be writing off TL just because this happened. But FlyQuest strategic coach, the guy that was apparently most influential in their drafting, was removed from the team or the organization or put on administrative leave due to him posing as a 13-year-old and messaging 17-year-olds online. This was before his time at FlyQuest, but it is still enough to the point where he should be put on leave as they figure it out. And I'm assuming probably let him go. Things like this in esports tend to not get the full clarity that they deserve, but nevertheless, we will find out more with what's going on there. But that definitely changed the team dynamic. Their drafting did not look the same this weekend as it did elsewhere, but that does not take away from FlyQuest in general underperforming. Whippo and Inspired talked the most amount of shit humanly possible coming into this weekend, and were the two biggest offenders of dropping the ball relative to their position. People are going to point at Busio saying he underperformed this weekend, and I agree. Finals nerves clearly got to him in some capacity, but he went from like middle of the pack, because Busio would have his moments where he would end all split, down to about here. You have Whippo and Inspired going from here down to here, which is way more important and way more influential. That it's like, I saw this coming. Like, whenever Inspired said in my conversation with him last week that like, oh, just making it to MSI is really all that matters to me. If we win the LCS title, great. But all I care about ultimately is getting to international play. Right then and there, it was like, okay, y'all don't have that killer instinct. Because I know Team Liquid has that. Even though Impact will say afterwards, and he did, that like, hey, I won another title. I'm happy to go to MSI. And same thing with Core JJ. There were people on that team that were hungry, way more hungry than the aggregate total of FlyQuest was, or at least the two people that were performing the best on FlyQuest were, they just didn't care as much, clearly. I'm not saying they didn't care at all, but you can't look at that series and not tell me that, like, that killer instinct was just not there. It wasn't. I feel bad for Papa Smithy and the FlyQuest organization to a certain extent. As a 100 Thieves fan, I'm not going to lie, it's nice that y'all don't have the same amount of titles as us. Not to rub it in your face that you lost by any means, but if you think that I'm going to be sad that you didn't win a title and that 100 Thieves still has one and you don't, that's too bad. I don't care. Too bad. If you think I'm going to be sad about that, you are sadly mistaken. Some other news around the LCS. Quid is your MVP for the spring split regular season. I think well deserved. I'm going to have a full video later this week rating all of the 100 Thieves players, where I think they finished in their relative positions, where I think they can possibly improve for summer, or at least things that we want to see out of them going into summer. Quid, obviously, in his MVP talk, I'm saving it for then. There's conversations around LCS viewership, which I'm saving for a video where I'm comparing LCS viewership to Call of Duty League. That I think is going to be a fun one. Catch that one next week. And finally, I will say this. We had 80 people show up to our watch party here in New York City. It was a blast. Everybody that I knew that attended, that I talked to, said that they had a really fun time with it. I got a response back from the general manager of the bar. They said that they loved having us and would love to have us back sometime. So clearly we drove enough business for them, which was great. And one of the things I want to try and do next time I do one of these is actually a 50-50. So for those that don't know what that is, basically you pay $5, you get 10 tickets, like 10 raffle tickets, and half of the money that we raise from doing the 50-50 will be given away to somebody at the event itself. The other half of the money will be used to then fund these watch parties, because I would eventually like to, you know, actually have merch without relying on teams, or like be able to buy RP gift cards and like basically give back to the community in some way, shape, or form. But I don't have my own money to be able to do that. Finances are tight on my end. So if we can start and do a 50-50 each and every time and give some money back to people and raffle it away, that would also give me the chance to have some of that. Maybe I can, you know, buy everybody a free drink at some point, or like I will be very transparent with the money the entire time. But I just want these watch parties to be a consistent thing, and I want to give people reasons to come. And a lot of that is skins. And if Riot is not going to work with me on this, because nobody really reached out from Riot side to offer like any skins to give away or anything else like that, if I can do a 50-50, then I can start paying for the skin giveaways myself. I could buy RP gift cards to give away to people and just have incentives, while also obviously giving 50% of that back to them. So yeah, thank you to everybody who came out. If you didn't make it out this time, I hope to catch you next time. We will consistently have watch parties throughout the regular season, as well as for Worlds, as well as for LCS Finals next summer, which we don't know the dates on. And I guess we're not finding out until after MSI, according to Mark Z, but you'll find out all that information here. I'll have everything here. So congratulations to Team Liquid for winning the LCS Spring Split. Please make us proud at MSI. That is it for the pit in spring. I will keep this series going during MSI, but I'm going on a bit of a hiatus. But don't worry, you're still getting 3 videos a week, every single week, up until MSI, and then we'll get into daily coverage. So looking forward to catch you around the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so, and I'll see you later.